so it was also that Tolbert had to make his own decision as to who he would choose to be his vice president. So I was privileged and fortunate to accept the position based on a number of conditions which we discussed. Number one, he and I would retire immediately after the term was over, and we put that into law. After that 8-year term, we both going to turn the government over to a civilian, have elections, and let some civilian people rule the country. I agreed to that. I supported it because I just went there as time being, to that vice president. I was attracted by the president's passion for the development of Liberia, contrary to what press and other people may say. But the president convinced me of his deep interest in bringing development to Liberia, and we saw that physically. Monrovia streets were paved, new streets were opened, schools were built. Rally time, I got a rally time picture here with me and the president sitting in his office. And this picture says a lot of things. There's a story behind this picture, which I may not have time to tell you, but that's the picture. And you see that on his day, he had rally time. Those of you who were young enough or old enough to know rally time, this was the time the president was motivating the Liberian people to self-reliance and self-determination. Farm to market roads, clinics. The last place he and I were was in Vahum, way up near the Sierra Leone border, where the people there were living in darkness, no road, and the only access they have outside of Vahum was to Sierra Leone. Many of the young men and women went to school in Sierra Leone. In fact, they thought that they were in Sierra Leone. The people in Vahum always believed that they were in Sierra Leone. They were using Sierra Leone money and all of that. Road was there. Bridges were built. Clinics were built all over the place. I, as vice president, my role was, constitutional role was to preside over the Senate. And I didn't have to be there all the time to preside because there was the president pro tempore who would take my place when I was not there. But the president designated me to do a number of things. Among the things was to dedicate the multilateral high schools in Zwedru, Vanjama, Grand Bassa, Bon County. Also to dedicate, I was sort of like a priest vice president. So I was in charge of some religious dedication business. I dedicated water systems in Bon County, in Vanjama. Water system, running water, electric plants. I dedicated the Omega transmission system that the US government put up there to track satellites underground, above ground, and whatever else they did there, we don't know, because we're not scientific. But I dedicated that. And the man who built it lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I went to shake his hand. Native American man who built that thing there. The challenging task I had was the chairman of the Rural Development Task Force, because the president had a desire to streamline government because government was too big and not effective and efficient. So we did a year of study along with UNDP and others to streamline government and to weed out waste and overlapping and give some power to the local governments. In our recommendation, we recommended that just as senators from the counties were elected, representatives were elected, so too the days of the vicegerency of the district commissioner or the superintendent of counties must be over. That was Arthur Barclay's thing. And therefore we recommended that superintendents be elected by the people so that they can be amenable to the people that elected them. This recommendation was made 1980, March 1980. We made our report to the cabinet. Also, that government ministries be streamlined and be reduced, that in each county, for instance, public works would have their county public works with all of the equipment, material. We went to China. China was going to provide those equipment, road building. Japan was going to provide those road equipments, and so that each county, when your tractor breaks down or the battery is weak, you don't have to go spend 2 weeks in Monrovia to wait for it, but each county would have the supplies and road building equipment. We also discovered that the radio broadcast and communication was very important, and therefore to centralize the communication so that from a central point, and I was biased to Bong County in Banga there. I stood up there and looked this way, that way, and Banga became the center. And I said, from this center here, Mr. President, if you broadcast, people will hear you even in Sierra Leone. We found out that waves go in concentric circles, and much of what was broadcast went into the sea, and therefore centralizing it would help all of our people hear the message of the officials and government. So those were the things that we were working on and recommended. In the area of development and help in Liberia, I went to Norway, Oslo, Norway, on a state visit, met with business people, and there was a gentleman who had been in Monrovia for 3 weeks trying to get a seismic report on oil drilling in Liberia. This gentleman brought his report to me in Norway, brought his papers, communications, telex, and all of those things, and I told him, make copies, give it to me, and I was going to take it to the mansion to the president and show it to him. And I went there, returned to Monrovia, met the president. I showed him what had happened there and what I reported that. And the president says, all right, Mr. Vice President, you be in charge of this. Send for the people, let them come and get what they need. The problem here is that we Liberians have done damage to Liberia, we ourselves. And if anybody remembers, in October of 1977, in my inaugural speech, I said the problem of Liberia is not the country. Liberia is the most beautiful country. Topography is beautiful. We got water, enormous water facilities, rivers. We got some of the beautiful beaches, and I was in Florida not too long ago. I said, your beaches don't match the beaches we have in Liberia. So it's not Liberia, but it's us. What is wrong with Liberia is us. And Mr. Chairman and commissioners, this is going to be the real problem, because it's easy, it takes about a month or two to build a bridge across the river. It takes no time to run electric wires and running water. So the infrastructure, the physical infrastructure is easy to be rebuilt. Pour me some water, man. You will sit down here for nothing. Sorry. Yeah, but the most difficult task here is to change the mindset of the people, to give them a new orientation in terms of what the new Liberia envisage.